Hello everyone, this is Fantastic Worlds. Welcome you to Secret World Interludes. Now, you may or may not know that at the 3,000 mark, we unlocked one of these episodes. Essentially, these are the bonus episodes for the Dragon faction that, since we didn't get it in our original run of Secret Worlds, we're going over this particular faction. I've heard it in one episode. The card will be up to the right there. If I've forgotten the card, please let me know in the comments. But just to let you know, you might have been expecting a Sunless Sea episode. Unfortunately, there have been computer issues. Hopefully they'll be recoverable, but in the meantime, we're doing this one. So, the Dragon. Yeah, this is the second episode on the Dragon, so let's go over what we've gone so far. They're creatures of chaos, as it were, which is, considering their title, really not that unusual. Dragons are considered personifications of chaos, and if you're familiar with the Souls Ring games, you'll remember that dragons are considered to be the inhabitants and rulers of the primordial chaos before both Gwyn and Marika did establish order. Yes, I'm going over Eldoing a lot because it tends to be a lot of overlap with the games I've been doing because it's kind of like primordial cosmic horror. But anyways, so let's get to these guys. These guys are the masters of synchronicity. Their entire shtick is they're attempting to figure out how to control synchronicity in order to be able to control all the actions of the world without realizing, of course, that the universe itself is the master of synchronicity and probably is playing them. Or maybe they do know and they don't care. But in any case, we need to go talk to the people upstairs. Now, we talked to the professor over here at the Kimiho Hotel. Kimiho over here, we're listening eternally to karaoke, and that may or may not be his version of hell. I'm not sure. I don't think we have to check in, do we? Expecting us? Yeah, okay. Let's dive in here. And the elevator's not working. Of course it's not working. Nice flowers, obviously plastic. And so let's go upstairs. Alright, guys. I'm here to talk to the Dragon. Yeah, the entire hotel is just a front for the Dragon, but it probably pulls at least a decent amount of cash. Money laundering is big on these guys, because you might remember, they're really, when you come right down to it, they're really a generic Asian criminal organization. Ugh, gods, what's with this? So, yeah. I can't go in here? Alright. Odd sound there as well. Okay, lots of flowers. This is kind of also a representation of chaos being represented by a flower due to the patterns, the endless non-repeating pattern symbols of Fibonacci sequence in a geographic form in the concept of flowers. Now, it's in any organic matter, including our own biology, but we tend to not think about that. Flowers tend to be the one we want to look at the most, looking at the biological construct that is... Okay, where's the room? Is this the room? Where's the room? Okay. Oops, I accidentally walked right by it. Anyways, oh, there. This is it, I think. Huh? That's not working. I think that's it. Ah, there we go. That is the Enforcer. You also note that he has non-human physiology. Dragon physiology. Yeah, shall we talk about how one of the mainstays of the organization's income is, of course, prostitution. Notice also there's a Morning Star icon over there. They're watching the place. Morning Light, there we go. Yeah, he's both there to protect her and to make sure she doesn't leave, because she is not there voluntarily. The vast majority of these people, the people they use for prostitution, are usually taken by deception or straight up force by the population, from the rural population.
You're shy. Shy, confused, lost.
Now she's playing us.
You're not lost anymore. The dragon found you.
Ooh, it's a cult.
And now, you found me. Everything happens for a reason. Every event. No matter how small, has consequences.
Please rehearse this.
They will ask you to do things, and most of the time, you will not know why, or what the consequences may be.
Ah, love bombing.
It is the curse of the dragon. We do not know why we do what we do, but we do it regardless, because they tell us it is right.
Very cold.
From chaos, there is order.
That is correct.
Order and clarity.
Strangely correct. Now,
The one moment of absolute clarity comes in that brief exhalation of ecstasy.
Now we're doing sex magic.
When our minds are empty, we are receptive to the truth.
Also correct.
Most of the time, you will not understand their reasons. You will not be able to see the consequences of your actions. But there is one event you must understand. One truth. It's my job to help you see it.
Yes, the most infamous scene, one of the most infamous scenes in the entire series, by the way. Yeah, she is bringing us to orgasm in order to produce an ecstatic event, essentially to shut down the ego so that we will connect to the greater consciousness of the buzzing. Now, I'm going to skip, of course, this is going to be the same introductory mission, so I'm skipping it, so I'll catch you in a little bit. And we are back. Yeah, okay, so after probably a bit of a post-coitus headache there.
You must leave now.
Yeah.
They are asking for you. I'm sorry you had to see. I'm sorry.
This group is a little weird. The fact they're all working simultaneously within Synchronicity, so they're moving without communicating, without understanding why they're doing so. They've essentially subjected themselves to... Yeah, so yeah, we skipped the tutorial again. So yeah, mission received chaos practice. Find those who are waiting for you. Oops. Where is it? Maybe in here. No, but hopefully we can get some complimentary chocolates. Hey, it's a hotel. I'm expecting service. Okay, so I guess it's down? Interesting. Maybe it's in the basement level. Hey, I am sprinting. Okay. I could sit on the sofa, but that's not actually what we're looking for. Aha! Well, let's get this. Before Gaia, there was chaos. That is true. Remember, all things came from chaos. We went over that in Cultist Simulator, and Book of Hours. That, yeah, all things sprang from the void, which is Nock in that realm, but chaos here, because we're going with the traditional. A man leaps off a high-rise, flapping his arms all the way down. Across the world, a moon cycle later, a tsunami savages a coastal town. What connects these events? It's this kind of extreme version of the butterfly effect, with the butterfly effect's basically saying that if a butterfly flaps her wings in the Amazon, then a hurricane will strike Tokyo, or typhoon, really, since it's specific. The motion of his arms, the scream of despair silenced by terminal velocity, the chemical composition of the ink in the letter he left, the light refracting the tears of she who read it, the pattern of his wet Rorschach impact on the cracked pavement. Basically, it says we're trying to figure out what the heck why Synchronicity does all these things. And they're trying to find a way to basically toss those guys off the roof. Ah, I'm guessing this is the individual that's waiting for us, so we should probably go talk to him. Thank you, thank you. I mean, these guys probably been meditating for like as long as it takes me to arrive in a certain place. So there is one thing I'm going to try to do. Oh, there, hang on. I'm going to try. Now, there is a cutscene that was removed from this version, the remake called Secret World Legends from the original one. But the buzzing, transmit, initiate anima signal, anima being, of course, the life force of creation, the golden life force, which is the life force of order, which is the one that keeps the construct that we know as reality around, and the black anima, which is the stuff that the filth uses, technically it's what's called the filth, which is the chaos one, which breaks reality down. The dreamers are creatures of eternal chaos that are basically trying to get back into this world because essentially when the crew world was created, it shut off a portion that from them. They got kicked out, and they're not happy about it. Receive the Enochian frequency. Enochian referring to the language of angels. We know that angels exist, aka seraphim, in this world, and that they're kind of dicks. Witness. Initiate the Merovingian signal. The Merovingian, although it's a character in the Matrix, might be referring to the French ruling line that was existed for a while that supposedly descended from a god from the sea. The Yap de Liada, crawling roots heavy with sizzling sap stab into your skull. Basically the world tree. Download Holy Communion, our connection to the buzzing. No purchase necessary. Your eyes and ears hemorrhage, boiling joy. That's one of the things about the buzzing, is that it literally would be overwhelming to a human consciousness. So our consciousness has been upgraded. Maybe too intense for some viewers. Ecstatic agony. Your molecules come undone. Some assembly required. Offer expands at the heat death of the universe, which we can actually see in the last mission they added, where you go into the future and Agartha, Dark Agartha, which is the Gartha after the world ends, being essentially the last construct left in a formless reality. For a limited time only, the dark days cometh, absolute zero, maximum entropy. Basically, they only do this by summoning bees at the extremists when the world is at end, because every time they take a bee, they remove a person from the world. You are no longer human. You are now outside of time, as I explained in the main series. You are Gaia's drone, your slave. It's why we have objectives and such. We are following her directives, and she takes away essentially free will during the crisis to ensure that life continues, as all things require sacrifice. Act now. Initiate Agartha broadcast. Transmit. The Agartha, of course, is the secret world within the, which is what it's named after, within the world, the Hell of Earth, as it's sometimes called, which, instead of being a place where traditional literature, cult literature, is where the secret masters of the world think wisely, it got turned into a mall, because everything got turned into a mall. Act now. Transmit. Open the 49 gates. I think those are the chakras. Witness the buzzing. All right. So, and let's get rid of that. So I guess we're following the appointed path. Yes, we are now been sucked into the construct. I mean, the synchronicity highway, or stream, as it were. Oh, it's great. Oh, yeah, I forgot. We just need to find all these places, and then we get 5 points. Yay. But we also get this. This is one of the reasons why I'm wandering around. Oops. It's been a while. You did not want to see me goof around in the, or maybe you would want to see me, but yeah, goof around in the tutorial because I messed it up. Okay, the dragon. Information on them. Our wisdom flows so sweet, tasted seed, basically the honey of creation. Gaia is the beehive, is Gaia and Gaia symbols. In fact, if you've been watching Book of Hours in real time, at the same time I'm doing this, you'll know that I uncovered the shrine to the Malachite, which is a primitive version of the Earth Goddess as the living hive of creation. Anyways, transmit. Initiate Yelgel Gaia. I don't know what that is, unfortunately. Signal. Receive. Initiate Hiran Zuan frequently. Yeah, Eastern is not as good. I have had little sources while in America about Eastern mysticism. I should really look that up. Download. Initiate Epic of Darkness Lexicon. Void or prohibitive. Initiate the King Mumu Protocol. Our prices are insane. Initiate. Yeah, the buzzing has taken on way too much of modern cop culture. Initiate the butterfly effect cadence. Do you subscribe to chaos? The green spectrum. Witness the dragon. Green spectrum, by the way, is reflective of the. Oh yeah, that's the Agartha portal, but we're not actually going in there yet. We are, however, going to grab this. The buzzing. Okay, more on it. All right, you've seen fragments of our grammar and the chaos patterns of bird flocks in flight. Yeah, that's correct. The synchronicity is about the motion beneath the physical reality that moves it. In other words, it is not, we cannot see synchronicity directly. It is not a physical tangent. But the reason why people read omens and things like the movement of cards, or the pattern of birds, or of clouds, or the way tea leaves collect in one areas, is that you are reading the chaotic pattern of synchronicity that lies beneath our material reality and moves it. The dragon. People keep saying how mysterious they are. They're essentially just tapped into that stream. I mean, they think they're controlling it. You can't really say they aren't, but it's controlling them. They put themselves into symbiosis with synchronicity, and that they benefit for it because they're essentially working with Gaia, as Gaia is the force behind synchronicity in our world, this world. They are also, of course, partially enslaved to it. You notice that why we have the interaction with the sex worker, how she seems scripted, but yet it also seems spontaneous. The reason being is that she has going through the pattern that has already been written in non-linear time, and she's accepted it. Now, if you watch the Sacred World main series, and why haven't you if you're watching this, you know that we came across a character in the Tokyo Endgame, Damino, I can't remember his name exactly, but essentially he has done the same thing Dragon did. He has completely using a device that measures nonlinear time, placed himself in that synchronicity circuit, which is why he comes out at the top at the end of Tokyo, which would be a spoiler, but there is no way in hell I'm going to be doing that other than that anytime soon. But yeah, the hexagon angles, the graffiti bleeding together in the wall, the bioluminescent eyes under your bed, don't ask. In the tangled city skyline that forms a runic rhyme and glimpse upside down, the blur becomes a syntax of foreboding scrawl emerges. Yeah, all of it. Every action, even the ones that you think are completely random, the ones that you think are completely your will, are synchronicity. Now, what's happening in this world is that the dreamers are attempting to hack that synchronicity to cause it, instead of keeping the world together, to instead tear it apart, which is one of the reasons why they're also trying to infect the chosen of Gaia, because they can turn them... The hell are you carrying? We can turn them into agents of chaos. Okay. The banking liaison. That's just somebody we can hold our stuff with. Alright. Now this, of course, is hidden in plain sight in this whole thing. And nobody can find it, by the way, even though there's nothing physically stopping it, because synchronicity prevents them from doing so. People will just overlook it. It's a version, since they're not part of the pattern, it's physically there, they cannot associate with a meaning. Green, by the way, is a light of chaos and fertility, good fortune, which is all, of course, tapping into the synchronicity frequencies that you want to tap into in order to be able to have good fortune. See, once you understand the symbolism, you gotta do this. Okay. Hello, hello. Remember, the bees don't think in English. They're a higher consciousness in dimensional construct we're connected to, and exposure to it will eventually make our characters incompatible with human thought, which is one of the reasons why you don't see any older bees. Like I said before in the main series, what happens is bees decide they just can't deal with humans anymore and disconnect their physical form and become part of the buzzing. Yeah, prices of power. Listen, you've heard us before, our voice, a prelude to the bloody nose. Look, you've seen the weird geometry of our scribbling, illuminated mysteries behind the migraine. Our apocrypha is written in the plasma blood of mobile phones. Yep. They're saying that they've been there all this time, overlooking humanity, and in our bloodstream, in the motion of everything we do, from the movement of our breath to the purchases you make. Hi guys, how you doing? Interesting they have their own security forces, and their outfits are meh. And I guess they're designed to be able to blend in anywhere. I mean, if you look at these guys, the first thing you're not thinking at the top of your head is cops. You might be thinking like cosplayers, or some sort of park ranger, but you're not thinking militant force that will kill you. We see a lot of people prefer that sort of look for their troops to intimidate others, but these guys aren't into intimidation. They don't need you intimidated. They're already controlling you. You just don't know it yet. Let's go. All right, let's enter the dojang. If I've got it right, I will slide. If I manage to get the old cutscene in, I'll insert it.
I am Desu. I am owner of the way. You are the dragon, one of 10,000 raindrops to begin a flood that will crash upon the stagnant and fearful. From out of the stillness comes great force for change. I will show you. This is a house of learning. None come here unless they are prepared to learn. You contain a power, the power of anima. It is of your breath, your blood, your life. It is an energy many seek to understand, seek to control. You are extraordinary. You can channel this anima to do your will, to do the will of the dragon. The closed fist, the talisman, the sword, even the gun, all of these are instruments awaiting your direction. Look around this house at the weapons of war. Take them, sound them out, learn the opportunities they provide. Learn the way. When we are satisfied, you take one as your own. This is your time for change. Before, your life was clouded, uncertain. That has ended. Dark days are coming. Some say they have already arrived and bring all we deserve. We shall train you to resist these dark days, and in resisting, reshape them. That is the way.
Okay, and we are back. So, hi guys, how you doing? Nice place you got here.
Our age's instrument of chaos. The flash mob, the riot, the anonymous source, the grainy videos of atrocity. We shall be in contact.
That's the information that's fed into the consciousness of humanity. And nowadays, you all know what's happening. You can Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever Elon's calling it today. All of these things that are occurring, that are designed to drip feed that to create change. So they're essentially trying to do what the dragon is, but very poorly, as they're not actually hooked into the universe itself. It's like the phone. They're hooked into their own ambition, their own ego.
Initializing field performance module. DNA encoding recognized. Syncing. Sync complete. Field performance module online.
That's the only time the thing talks to us. Okay. Inventory. Do the quick equip. Yeah. Alright. They're connected. There's so much more we discussed, Dayu. Okay. I have got to remember how to get these. Over here, I've forgotten all about this. There is so much we need. Bong Cha. There is so much we need to discuss. Daisu will see that you receive everything you need. Be certain to learn the value of upgrading your weapons before you are finished. You'll find this to be of utmost use. Do not take long, however. We have an urgent assignment that requires your attention. Take some. Alright, we gotta do this stuff. Alright. Okay. Y to do this, and right-click your equipped weapon. Yeah, okay, so basically we get some junk. We bring it up to level 2. Level 4. Okay, sacrifice anyway. Yeah, we got this part back in the main game. Sorry you have to go through some of this. And equip. Right then, okay, we'll go over to the magic book, which is our focus for blood magic. Okay, take discarded items. Okay, so we'll do this again. I will get to you in a second. I think I was level 4. Alright, so yeah, let's just chill.
This house is shelter from the coming storm.
Oh.
In time, it too will be swept away, as will we all. Until that time, this is a place where your choices need not have consequence. In this house, we stand apart from the fabric of the world. In this martial silence, meditate on what you are, what you will become.
See, unlike the area that we go into for the other two factions, this place is actually highly mystical. These people are focusing themselves, okay, let's get a quick look around, in a area that's warded, essentially. Though they wouldn't call it warding, they would consider it to actually be something akin... Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry. Yeah, that's one of the things you can do. You come to here and you can practice on your weapons. It's one of the more forgiving areas in this regard, and frankly, I like the wide open spaces and more aesthetic, and the more casual, natural aesthetic. It's just that I had to go through the original one with Kirsten because she is just the most fun character to mess with. Let's equip our green weapon, I guess. We need to do. Okay, we'll grab Y. Let's do this part. Alright, we've equipped it. Alright, exit the Dujong. We'll go over. I mean, I'm not doing this. I'll have to go over and learn how to do this myself for what I will have to grind off screen to get to the next episode. I will do so. This episode will end essentially when we slip back into the main story back in New England. Kingsmouth, and because I'll stop just there because there's that last unique piece of dialogue for a long time happens when you meet the cowboy. All right, locate the head of the dragon. Remember, these checkpoints are us following the direction of the buzzing, which means we've already been following the synchronicity in the other two factions. It's just we don't know what it is. We're literally just going where the bees tell us. This is informing us of how the chaos pattern moves us in these places. All right, so let's go talk to whoever's... Now, I'd say they're in charge, but they're not. They're just performing a function for the greater purpose. All right, here we go. How?
Welcome to the Dragon. Sorry about the rough handling. Time's short and we don't have the luxury of a soft landing.
You're the Kirsten equivalent.
I'm Bong Cha. I'm the voice of the dragon. You don't speak with the child. You don't speak with the monks. You speak with me. You get your instructions from me. That's how it works. Are we clear? We believe in free will, within boundaries. I'm gonna set those boundaries for you, and then it's up to you to make your own choices. We all have a role to play, and we're all part of the dragon. The head, the mouth, the claws and fire. Even the dust and debris swept along in our wake. We're all part of the equation, the reality disruption. We're agents of chaos, and we do what needs to be done to shape the future. We do what is necessary. At this moment, new systems are forming on Solomon Island. Think of it like the weather. A storm is brewing, and you're the butterfly. You need to flap your wings, add another chaotic event to the mix. Aside from our rivals on the council, no one's getting in or out of Solomon Island. The only road is through Agartha, and your kind has the right-of-way in there. There are predictions, models. But even if I did show them to you, you wouldn't have a clue how to read them. Trust us to know where you'll be useful, where you'll be able to disrupt and add discord. The Templars and the Illuminati are racing to unlock the secrets of Solomon Island. We could wait and let them tear each other apart, but there are designs, models, awaiting new data, fresh agitators, acts of gentle terror. It's time to leave.
Okay. Quick note about all of this. Okay, so the person who is speaking there, all right, a bit of a spoiler on that one. She's actually an empty shell being manipulated. You find this out at the very end of the main game, in which you find out that she's essentially an amnesic college student who's abducted by these nuns, the same way we are too, linked basically to the mind of that godchild, which is essentially he is a child of the dragon line. Hey, Dragonborn. Yeah, there you go. Oh, you. And that he is... We did this before. And that in the end she's replaced by her successor, who is far more apt at the job, and you should know who I'm talking about if you know this game at all. But yeah, essentially what she's saying is that she is introducing chaos to the system. In other words, they know, for example, they know that... Hang on for a second. They know... Actually, yeah, why... Oh, I've forgotten about that design. It's been a while. All right, so here, let's just do this. They know, oh, for crying out loud, that we are an agent of Gaia. They know to dump us in as quickly as possible into the situation, and that the programs that are in our head, the synchronicity linked to Gaia as a constant feedback where Gaia is wounded and then she moves us like antibodies to take care of it, directing us from point to point, which is the checkpoint system within the game, that will just do its job. The dragon is not in charge of us. Gaia is. All Dragon is doing is acting as a synchronistic agent for Gaia. Now, the thing is, both Kirsten and the Templars, the Illuminati and the Templars are doing the exact same thing, but they're unaware of it. They think they're in charge. That's the snide reaction that she just insinuated, that they think they're in charge, but the dragon knows that they're just part of the process, all of them. And the dragon are humble, and they decide that they accept this fate. Because it's not really acceptance. You don't get to say no. You are already part of the game. Here we are. Been a long time since I've been here on a regular basis, and unfortunately I fear It's much emptier now.
Hello? Yes?
Ah, you again.
Now, this is the Hollow Earth, Agartha. I do hope you're not here for the local service. It's running somewhat tardy. And by my watch, it's 100 years overdue at 1:15 the hour. Judging from the cut of you, you're more of a world traveler. Well, you've come to the right place. This underground realm, like the Great British Rail System, is the very model of efficiency.
Tell you how long it's been in here.
Agartha's thoroughfares sprout from the Tree of Life and connect back to the surface. Distance and time bend in here. Why, you can cross the globe in a brisk walk. Of course, it's perfectly safe. No one's entirely sure how it works. Quite bedeviled, the science boffins, but I'm assured they have their top men on it. Top men. Now, you'll need one of these. Mind your fingers. Thank you. Fascinating devices. Fortunately, there's still enough to hand out like sweets. Consider it your anchor to the Hollow Earth. It can return you here in a flash, proverbially and quite literally. Well then, onwards to the New England coast, what?
Okay, so a couple things. Now, Gartha is the hub level. We spent so much time in there. These, of course, are the other hub levels, but we're not going there at the moment. I interrogated him back at episode 1 of the, Right, inventory. Right, forgot to learn to teleport. Yep. Okay. Yep. Use this item to add it to your available teleports. There you go. It's basically, this tells us how we get into the, transport. Guys. Yeah, in the beginning it gets rather quick. Anyways, yep. So one of the cute things that you should be picking up on, Tree of Life. All of you should know this by now if you've been hanging with me for a bit. The Tree of Life, of course, is the metaphysical structure beneath which all of reality occurs and gives form to the formless chaos that we consider to be, gives us realities, which means reality is a construct. You're here in a Lovecraftian channel. This should not be unusual information to you at this point, that the world, of course, has some dark secret to it. Now, the thing is, there's layers of knowledge of the reality to Agartha. The machines are from the first age, or the third age. Anyways, they're from a previous age, and they are running autonomously from the tree. This guy has absolutely no control over them. He's just been here for over 100 years. He was chosen by by Gaia to remain here. And there's one particular fragment of lore, when you pick up, that shows that he has been here for so long, and he's just begging things to end. Because one of the odd things about this is that we cannot 100% be sure the Dreamers are wrong to show up. The age is ending. This person, who is, of course, a much later addition, because, of course, he's not commanding these things, he's just aware of the patterns of how they operate and places himself to do so, that he was added in, now we're added in, and things have become crowded. This is sort of a... How do I put this? This is sort of a... When the end of the world comes, it's sort of a reset. Buzzing. You've heard the shards of her voice in the phantom radio code of the number station. I have actually done that, by the way. I have scryed using both radio and television static, because that is a representation of chaos. All you have to do is let it do so. However, keep in mind, there are things on the other side of that chaos that you may or may not want to contact. In the roar of a crowd, in the screams of your clock, in the scrape of a chalkboard, there is a sonic version of the synchronicity, yes. It's no static of television, the constant transmission. In fact, music is one of the largest transmissions of what's called hypersigils. The term invented by Grant Morrison, which indicates that which he's aware of, because he's a magician himself, the transmission within popular media, from his comic books out to television, to music videos, to everything, of baseline information, synchronistic information being transmitted through the links. In fact, if you're familiar with the band In Water, which is a Viking folk revival duo, the main singer said she got the inspiration to start her group when she dreamed of singing and having glowing white runes coming from her. Which means that right now, when compared to when I first started the series, we are so much closer to the actual apocalypse, I swear, or the actual breakdown of reality as we know it, that It's all coming out. The reason they call it the apocalypse is it literally means in Greek the lifting of the veil. Basically, that all things shall be revealed. All things shall be understood. Okay. The silence between the lies. There we go. In the urban mythos, it spread like children like contagion. White noise becomes a cadence. Words become self-awareness because language is the nature of self-awareness. You think in words. Right now, unless you are exceptionally good at meditation, you think in words. You construct your thoughts in words. To understand your own consciousness, you must use words. So that is the core of consciousness structure. Language is one representation of it, but any form of pattern that we can create will do so. And in fact, one of the evolutions, one of the ways that you expand your consciousness to understand magic further is to learn how to not communicate in words, how to do so in more abstract patterns. Creativity is usually the key to that. Yes. I'm pointing the way, dragon-like. Viral or evolving, living poetry, sentient language. Yep, because you are essentially sentient language. Okay. Alright, so, yeah. Gods, it's been like a tenth of the usual people here when we were here last time. 'Tis the end. Oh, let's get rid of that thing. Yeah. Alright, so investigate the inside. This is where we have all of our stuff. We've been here so many times. Now we'll go find the Argotha pad. And then we'll... Yeah, take a look, guys. Not much left. I don't know how much longer they're going to keep the servers on. There's only going to be a few people here at any time. One of the reasons I created this game was to ensure that there be a record that it once existed. Until YouTube itself goes. I mean, that's why we're talking about ends of things. Okay, warning, it's corrupted, or words detail, contamination. Yeah, this actually is a foreshadowing for the existence of John in the Tokyo thing, about how the buzzing has been infiltrated by the Dreamers, Ages of Chaos, by John himself. Alright, so there we go. Let's grab this. Okay, thanks. If we can just go there, thanks. Alright, so deal with that in a moment. We see you. There is no turning back. What that actually means is one of the dangers or opportunities, depending how you look at it, about approaching the mystical arts is that you are not in a vacuum. I'm sorry, chaos magicians. No, not everything in the universe is egregore, not the way you're thinking about it. Humans are not the only form that has self-awareness, and we are not imposing our reality on it because, frankly, human will and consciousness and the amount of time to find fire within a human being is minuscule. It is a match compared to a star. They're entities that are far, far, far older, far, far, far more intense and deep than human beings. So do not ever, ever have the ego to think that humanity is the top of the chain in that regard. In any case, but once you see, you are seen. Once the powers that maintain the synchronatic network that you are unknowingly part of, once they know that you know, the rules around you change. Absolutely. Change. Ooh, whoops. Because now you're part of the game as a player, not a pawn. And you're going to be tested to see where your piece is going to lie. What are we? It depends on who's looking. Now, that's actually a line from the Mothman Prophecies, which is an absolute terrible film with Richard Gere in it, which is a completely fictionalized and sensational amount of the Pleasant Point Mothman sightings, the original ones, 70s, I believe it was. That's the only good line in it, because it refers to the fact that Ingrid Cold, which is played completely different than he is in the real event. If you read the book, The Mothman Prophecies, do not see the film, except for these few tidbits it lies in. One of which is, when Richard Gere's character is talking to Ingrid Cold over the phone, he asks Ingrid what he looks like. And Ingrid says, depends on who's looking, which means that spirits, being of course non-corporeal intelligences, have no immaterial fixed form. What happens is our brain desperately tries to figure out the data in front of us and substitutes the avatar it gets closest to it. Like if you're talking to a guy, if I were talking to the buzzing and it had a material form, it'd probably be a giant bee. Because that is what we associate with the buzzing, that is associated with hives. That would be what our brain would desperately try to tell us directly in front of us in an attempt to do this. So, yeah, the other thing about that, all right, do see the film, but not for the purpose of seeing it for the events. Read the book for the actual events. The film will give you an idea of just how dangerous spiritual contact can be. When they go into what the entity, which has nothing to do with the real Ingrid Cold, by the way, real in quotations there, what the entity, how much damage its exposure does to people, how badly it can affect them, because we all radiate a sort of force, life force from us that contains our own personal hypersigil. The majority of the time, we're around people who have equal to or less, depending on how powerful your own signal is, level of power, so there's no real change. But when you get around a more powerful entity, you start falling into the orbit and you start taking on a part of their nature. So, be careful what you expose yourself to. In any case, initiate King James Protocol. The code is 2413 and 14. The password is Proverbs. Transmit. That's a code, by the way, if you want. This is how hypersigils work. They'll layer themselves. My child, eat thou honey because it is good. Thou shalt the knowledge of wisdom be unto thy soul. Basically, yeah. It also, and if you are familiar with the source, that honey came from the dead. Now, if you've also been in the Book of Hours up to real time, you'll note that I'll talk about how death is the source of all power. And it's a universal concept. You create anything with a cult concept in it, you're going to end up with the same results. It doesn't matter how different you try to make it, how new agey, how fairy light. The root of all power is death, and you will always come back to that truth until you accept it and move on. Speaking of being surrounded by death, right then, like I said, this will be the last part of it, because essentially from this point forward, you can go back to start with episode 2 of my regular series, and you will get the story that way. The only difference is what's going to happen is that there's a mission between, when you go between each layer, between here and Egypt, that will be unique. Oh, hello. It will be unique. You're hired.
Faction rank increase.
See the bees? Remember I was talking about how you would see bees if you're looking at spirits of the buzzing? These are not bees, especially not that large. These are the spirits. This is our brain trying to dumb down the image large enough for our monkey brains to get it. All right, it's buzzing. Oh, sweetling. Now, sweetling is an interesting word. I've heard it used before in occult literature. And if you've seen Elden Ring, you should know where that reference comes from. It's all connected. GIF insert here. Yes, games that are involved with occult principles have linked themselves to the Synchronicity network. So if you start noticing all the symbols in common, you're not crazy. You're becoming super sane, as I like to call it. You are understanding more. And if since you're over here with me in a Lovecraftian channel, you know just how dangerous that can be. But a sweetling is essentially someone considered to be an innocent little child in comparison to power. And it's kind of an insult, and it's also kind of a term of endearment. It's basically trying to remind you that you're the prey still, and why they love you. You look tasty too. Anyways, once our voice comes to you so faintly, no more. The faint voice is called intuition. In other words, when Synchronicity is trying to get your attention, it will whisper in your ear, make coincidences happen. But the buzzing just says through that we're doing direct transmissions. No more. We have now thundered down the varicose, fiber optic ley lines that fill the world tree's limbs, stretching here and there and everywhere. Now, if you saw Hush House Lecture 1, you note that I refer to the ley line network as being the energetic backbone of reality. This is what they're saying is it's not just energy it's moving, it's information. It's the fiber optic information where synchronicity travels down. So that's one of the reasons why in certain places you get the transmissions better, because you're not having a lot of dull stone and raw energy of the city getting in the way. Your anima antenna head quickens. The goddess machine pulses. The goddess machine being, of course, the Gaian one. Gaia herself. Being basically a new anima well. If you're defeating contact, you will be able to recover your anima form here. Okay. Basically our checkpoint. And let's go talk to the cowboy. Like I said, this will be the last part. Hey there, Slim. God, I'm dating myself. Slim Pickens? Sheesh.
Oh, don't worry, kid. You haven't gone back in time. I just happen to be the last of the cowboys. Got your southern welcome right here. Mesquite beans, Texas style.
Hopefully not too spicy.
Good ought to face evil on a full stomach. Name's Boone. I'm a troubleshooter.
You find trouble, you shoot it.
You and I need to have a little powwow before you go shooting for trouble. Yeah, chaos theory is all well and good in theory, but what we're dealing with here is chaos in practice. And what'll a dragon make of that? Sure, you can be divided in purpose, but we gotta stand united against darkness. This ain't my first rodeo. I know we're gonna need all the unity we can get. Don't mean to say you stepped into hell, but when the wind blows west, you can just about smell the brimstone.
That's actually in-game reality.
All we know is death and fog came from the sea, or someone brought it back with them. If I was a gambling man, I'd put money on that someone still being around. Bunch of survivors holed up in Kingsmouth town. Follow that main road and the sound of gunfire, you'll come to the sheriff's office. Kid, whatever your reasons for being here, you find out what those people died for, and you bring a reckoning.
You know, as seeing this scene, hang on, after all of the, seeing the scene after all playing the game before, you can actually see so much detail that they put in. Like, for example, yeah, there's a gate to hell to the west here. It's part of the, when that area unlocks, one of the first adventures that I actually did the whole thing on the hell missions, put them all together. But, it's basically a side quest where you're eventually fighting for a revolution in hell, which isn't actually what you think it is. It's not where evil souls go. It's just a earlier copy, you might say, of the second age of Gaia, with which they used a form of anima technology that drilled it directly from the world and turned the world into a wasteland as a result. I can't think of how that would actually apply to our world. In any case, yeah, Boone, the thing is also, while we're talking about synchronicity, Boone himself is said to basically to be an agent, an immortal. In fact, the reason why his voice is so deep is that as you age, your voice deepens, and if you're 200 freaking years old, that's how deep your voice is going to be. You're going to be like James Earl Jones, you have it with a frog in his throat. But in any case, doing the Vader impression, of course. But in any case, yeah, and he is another form of synchronicity. Notice he moves us into the next stage. When you're in synchronicity, it will just, like a path in Bastion, it will just form in front of you as you go forward. And I would say you don't even have the option of whether to continue or not, because go off the path you fall, you call it back to and all that's going to happen is a new path will form, and they'll all be heading towards the same entrance. Now, can you shift the path? Yes. Not in a game like this, because we've locked ourselves to Gaia's patterns, but synchronicity is chaos, and it is possible to change your path, but only if you are a God of War. Oh, Dawn just hit. And if you are a God of War Ragnarok player, you will know that the way to do so is to change your nature, because what affects your path in synchronicity is your nature. Our nature has been changed into a bee of Gaia in the game. Therefore, that is why we do not have free will. We must go on the pattern Gaia sets before us. And in Repcom's sense, we get immortality, our own sanctuary in Agartha, and you dwell forever with our creator, which in itself is what a lot of religions promise. In this case, it's Gaia. So, you feel like being with the Earth Mother forever, dwelling into the depths of creation. This is how you get there. Service. Any guys, this is Fantastic World, saying farewell from Lovecraft Country. We're going to cut it off here, and why I'm going to have to start grinding towards the next episode, which will be at 3,500. And we'll go further into the synchronicity connections, as it were. It is, like I said, the only real difference in this point forward from my regular play as Hipster Dude would be the end of mission communications that you get from Baosun, who, yeah, is basically just Dragon Kirsten. And we've got the real Kirsten, so I don't think we actually have to go through all that again. Anyways, I will see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see if we get back to Sun the Sea, or I've got to keep substituting. And if I have to keep substituting, yeah, we'll get back to a vote for the next series. Technology. Any of you out there, did some evil thinking or such to make me stop the Sunless Sea episode? Don't. It's going to cost me money to get this fixed, all right? You don't want Sunless Sea. At least start advocating for it in the comments before you start hexing, all right? I'll see you next time. Bye. I'd like to thank my Acolyte level supporters, whose contributions help this channel grow and hastens the inevitable digital apocalypse and rise of the Dark Lords of content and data.
You will see the dawning of a new age. To be a monarch or a beggar. To lose everything or to become a god. To stand with us or against us. The choice is yours.